This is going to be a quick tutorial on how to use the Power Rake, and I'm going to show you everything I know about it. I'm going to show you one of the modifications that I did to my unit. If you push the SDLA lever to the right, it lowers the unit. Push it far right, it'll put it in float, which is what you typically run the unit in. Push the SDLA lever to the far left and it picks the unit up. Push the auxiliary lever to the right and it angles the head of the unit to the right. Push the auxiliary lever to the left and it angles the head of the unit to the left. Push the green button on the auxiliary lever and push it to the right and it makes the unit cut deeper. Push the green button on the auxiliary lever and push it to the left and it'll actually raise the head and cut shallower. When I unhook the unit for the day, I make sure it's within the blue detaching zone as indicated on the depth indicator. If you push the directional rod forward, it will make it so that the power head will cut in the forward direction. If you pull it backwards, then it makes the head cut when you're going in the reverse direction. The direction of the head works on a hydraulic valve, and if you put it in the intermediate position, it will be like a neutral for the head and it will not rotate. So since it's just a hydraulic valve, you can adjust the forward or backward rotation of the head on the fly and it doesn't damage anything. A lot of this height adjustment comes from just experience and how the tractor is reacting to the dirt, whether it's hard or soft or wet or whatever. But typically, if I'm going on a brand new grading job, I'm going to start it somewhere around 4 to 6 and see how that works. And if I can dig deeper without slipping the belt, then I'll put it down probably about as low as the detaching zone. It's very rare that I go down in here when I'm cutting in on a new grade. So this is a pretty good depth to dig and get rid of your potholes and to move dirt. Then somewhere about 4 to 2 is a good second pass. And on your very final pass, you'll be up here between 0 and 2 somewhere doing your very final skim coat, and that's what gets it butter smooth. You've also got a side plate on each side of this unit. This will help keep debris from coming this way on the side plate. It also helps you carry the material when you're power raking in the forward direction. What I found is power raking in the reverse direction, it actually carries just as much material. So it's pretty rare I use these side plates. The only time I found them to be very beneficial is beside like a concrete slab or maybe a gravel driveway to keep from getting dirt over into that area. So you'd pull your pin out, the plate would drop down, and you could do height adjustments wherever you wanted the plate to be. So this is the same type of bearing as you see on all your zero turn type mowers. This is a sealed bearing, so you do not want to put a whole lot of grease in this type bearing. Looks like we're missing a Zerk fit in there. We'll have to get that one replaced. Since these aren't sealed bearings, you can see the grease coming out. Put as many as you want in there and just do it as needed. I believe that was clogged up. These Zerk fins are 5/16 inch nut drivers. So I'm just going to clean it out with this little dental tool. See how that does. There we go. When you're making the initial passes and you're cutting it kind of deep, pulling in reverse tends to work a lot better than going forward. If you go forward, especially with the rake angled to one side or the other, it will push you to that one side while it's trying to dig. So best to go in reverse. So there's your first pass. It's pretty rough looking right now. We dug down probably 2 inches, 3 inches, something like that. But it would literally chew through some dirt now. So I've got a hill right here that I'm trying to cut down, and I'm going to show you how I use the Power Rake to do it. So when you come up to the hill, you're digging into the ground. You've got it on a setting of about where the loading zone is, and then when you crest the top of the hill and you start going back down where you want to dump the dirt, just keep on going forward with the tractor and pick the front of the Power Rake up, and it'll drop it off on the back side. After you do that a couple times, the hill will be about as flat as the back side, and then you can start making your normal passes to smooth it out. So here's where we're at. I've made multiple passes over it. I brought in probably about a load of field dirt, and I've only cut down 2 cutting depths now, and the next one's going to be my final pass, which is going to be just barely skirting the top, and it's going to knock off all these ridges that you see. That's probably a 2 or 3 inch ridge, but this next pass is what I normally get paid for when I do a job, and it's going to smooth it up like you wouldn't believe if you've never seen it. The idea with this last pass is you just want the Power Rake just barely kissing the ground, and that's what's going to windrow all of your rocks and the rest of the debris that you have in the yard. Well, there's your final product. Not a single rock to pick out up here, nothing to rake. There's nothing that replaces that Power Rake, and if you're going to do any initial seeding in your yard, this is by far the way to go. You know how fluffy it was in the beginning. You can see it's really firmed it up. It's the perfect seed bed. Still loose on top, but it's firm. So I'm definitely not trying to sell anybody on a Power Rake or a Ventrac, but it is hands down the best piece of equipment I've ever used in terms of grading for a seed bed, or like we're doing here, a landscape bed. So you can see for yourself how good the final product is. It's a couple hours out here, about a half a dump truck load of dirt to fill in the low areas, just because it's quicker than it is trying to move dirt around. So if you're interested in modding your height adjustment with the handle off of it and the motor on it, this is definitely the way to go. It makes grading so much better, and you can adjust it on the fly and really fine tune the detail. I know the new Power Rake does come with a height adjustment on it, but if you got this older style Power Rake, you should definitely do this modification. Hope this helped out. I think I covered most everything. It's good to keep up with your maintenance on it, especially those grease fittings. This unit does take a lot of abuse.